Before I get started with this video, I have to give a shout out to Kid Gravity because he posted something up in his Discord and it led me to this post right here. And let me just tell you right now, the fragility from PC is strong with not only the person who posted this, but also the people underneath it who commented. And I'm gonna go through as much as of this thread as I possibly can, and I'm gonna try to keep the edits to a minimum, because if I did too much edits, this would be a long video for me to have to work on. So I said, let me just let it flow like a stream so y'all can see what people had to say under this post. So this is coming from an account on X called 9mm SMG. Never heard of this person before, but just based on this post right here, I can pretty much gauge what it is they have to say. So they had something they had to say when it comes to reparations, as most anti-black people tend to do, where he said, or they said, because I don't know who's actually running this account, says the realistic outcome of reparations would absolutely ruin the lives of black Americans. So now they're saying that reparations would ruin us, like just saying we don't deserve it. Let's just be fine with the situation we're in right now, because if we get any money, if we get any tangibles that is in the trillions, because that's where it's sitting at right now, that would ruin us. Anybody can anyone tell me how that would ruin anybody? I'm trying to figure this out. They literally they could have stopped right there, because they told on themselves in that first sentence that if black people get any huge amounts of money, that would ruin us. But us being where we are in the financial, I guess you could say, sector of America, that's fine. Where we are at, that's perfectly fine. Again, this is fragility overload just in the first sentence. It goes on to say, can you imagine being a white construction worker on a hot summer day and seeing a black 20-year-old cruise by in a Lamborghini he got for being born black? Told on himself again in the second sentence, basically saying, now white people, we're going to have to actually work. And black people, they're just going to be handed stuff. Now, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how PC, like this person right here, is actually framing this as if many of them aren't handed stuff already, whether it's from generations of wealth passed down to the next, so on and so forth, but they want us to just be okay. So basically what you're saying is only a white person should be riding around in the Lamborghini or have nice cars and nice things. That goes back to a thing where, you know how there's a thing where you find stories where there are black people who are driving nice vehicles and they're driving around and they get pulled over because they're not supposed to have these nice things. That literally fractures their ego, especially if the black person is young, because basically they're trying to say, oh, we didn't work for it. We had to have stolen it. We didn't earn it. You know, it was a diversity thing. That's why they're so mad about that DEI thing right damn now. Because there's just no way we could have possibly earned what is ours. It just had to be given to us, or we had to have taken it or stolen it, you know, committed some kind of a criminality act in order to achieve it and to achieve what we were going after. Then they finish it off with racial tensions in the country will be at a record high. I don't understand why reparations advocates don't see this, as if racial tensions aren't already high as it is right now. See, this is again a person who put out a post to rouse a certain sector of people up, and that's exactly what they did, because this post was made on February 18, 2024, and I'm recording this on February 19, 2024. It has over 458 comments, 225 retweet or reposts. It was liked over 3,300 times, and I bookmarked it mainly because I had to retrieve it, so I wouldn't forget it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through some of these comments. Now I'm gonna scroll down right here and shout out to the Black Outcast. We actually follow each other here on X, and I promise you, this is probably the only post that was made on this thread that made sense. Everything else you're going to see after this is going to be steeped in anti-blackness that was even worse than what the original poster made. So they say, yeah, it's good to see white terroristic threats are still what you fuckers consider to be quote unquote unifying. Your mindless drones really think that black Americans wouldn't start businesses, create jobs for everyone, and strengthen the economy if we were repaired instead of denigrated. Then they put up this infamous quote by Lyndon B. Johnson, which, by the way, I've been seeing quite a bit of as far as this quote goes for the last couple of days. I've seen this quote from LBJ consistently on different platforms for the last week. That's saying something more than I probably ever seen this quote before prior, where it says, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. This right here is probably one of the best quotes to describe PC ever said, and the irony of it is that it was said by another PC man. That's the irony of the entire thing. And I think it's a quote many of them don't like, because I saw some people when this quote was posted up, PC was having the nerve to get upset and bit out of the shape, saying, oh, that doesn't apply to us, or that doesn't apply right now. Notice they said right now, but it really does. Probably more now than ever, if you want to be completely honest. And this quote was made back in the 60s. Amazing how it's coming full circle and is being propped up and pushed out there again, and probably more this year than ever, considering it's an election year. But now that we've gone over the sensible post on this thread, I'm gonna start scrolling down, and you're gonna see some of the other things that people say. And I'm gonna try not to look at the replies, but I just want y'all to look at the initial post that people have made. They says, and remember, and what happens when that money is spent after one generation? What will the next one say? And I promise you, there was a lot of posts that look like that, and a lot of people that, I'm gonna just put it out there for you, a lot of the people that had something to say about it were saying things of the same. One generation, hell, that'll be gone in about 1 year or 2 years. Someone said, oh, it'll be gone in about 2 weeks, because they present it in their mind that we will just squander the money however we want. Basically, the common theme under this thread, before I go any further, is them pocket watching to the max. I'm talking about serial pocket watching. That's really all it is. Another person said, Native Americans are a great example of the impact of giving free money to a people based on race. Someone else said, not to mention that there is absolutely no way to talk about reparation that doesn't bring up the cost of 1, freeing blacks from slavery, 2, 160 years of black criminality, and 3, 50 years of great society, welfare programs, and wealth transfer. If you do the math, the ADOS community would at the very least get a pittance, and at the very most wind up owing significant sums. Let me keep on going. Someone else says, oh, they see it. They're accelerationists. They want this. If reparations do become a thing, invest your money in sneakers, nail salons, and wig shops. They are not long-term planners. So they picked out the 3 things that they think we spend all this money on, yet there was a man at SneakerCon who spent $9,000 for a pair of Trump's sneakers just to say that they were the first one to buy him. Granted, that person, I believe, is like a big-time CEO, but that's besides the point. The first person to buy them and spend $9,000 was a white man. But they want to talk about, we spend all this money on all of these things. But again, they're picking out all the stereotypical things: sneakers, nail salons, and wig shops. Well, guess what? Even if we were to do that, so what? It would be our money. I personally wouldn't do it because I'm not interested in those things. But whoever got it, hey, it's theirs. But again, this goes back to really the common theme, what I just said. This is nothing more than serial pocket watching. That's really all it is. Let's scroll down some more. These are the same people that will spend their last $100 on a pair of sneakers. Again, going back, like I said, the common theme is you're going to see some of the same wording just from different people. Instead of food, there is no logic. They just want cash. You're damn right. Just like everybody else got theirs, we coming to get ours. And the thing is, what they're upset about is that they can say all this propagandized things or anti-black stuff, but they're saying it in hopes that we're going to feel some type of way about it, about what they said. But little do they know, we don't care, because we've already heard all your talking points. Just cut the check and shut the fuck up. That's really the order of the day. They says, imagine working your ass off to provide for your family, and overnight throngs of illiterate, violent, unemployed black males buy houses in the neighborhood that your children sleep. That would be my call to action. Look at that. Look at what they just did right here. Now they're using the talking point of violent males being unemployed and being around in neighborhoods where your children sleep. There's a lot to unpack with just that. Just saying that black males are violent and then say where your children sleep, you know what side of the spectrum both of those fit on. And you know exactly what they're trying to say. Let's look at those crime stats, shall we? Under a particular category that begins with the letter R and rhymes with cape. Let's continue to move forward. I would never pay taxes again, and I would move all my holdings and savings to non-USD vehicles so they couldn't tax me as much through inflation. Well, you put out there what you would do, but I highly doubt that would work. Let's continue. Look at the fate of most people who win the lottery. A good 85% of them would end up just like that. Again, they already have it planned out in their heads what's going to happen. Little do they know what this could actually do for the economy, but they're not trying to hear that, because all they see and hear at the end of the day is black people getting money. That's all they hear is black people getting money, and that's it. They have no idea what that could actually do for them. But they've already mentally told themselves, if black people get this money, this is what they're going to do with it. If black people get this money, here's what I'm going to do about it. If black people get this money, here's what's going to happen to the establishment. By the way, which none of the scenarios I gave would even most likely remotely happen. By their logic anyway. Not seeing it as a feature or not a bug, the goal isn't societal harmony on the other side. The goal is revenge and then the slow eradication of the white population. There goes your quote-unquote replacement theory in the flesh of what they have cemented in their minds. If black people get this money, then the white population will slowly decrease. Have y'all seen your low birth rates? That's something that's going on right now, and they haven't even cut the check yet. Not one check. So I highly doubt that getting reparations is going to do anything different than what's already happening right now. Racial tensions are already at a high. This would be the match that lights the fire. Anyway, now look at this one right here. They've already had decades of reparations and it has ruined them. They said 1945 Hiroshima, Detroit, 2010 Hiroshima, Detroit. How does one expect to get paid for something they didn't endure off the backs of people who didn't do it to them? And there's another talking point they love to use. The Western world didn't create slavery, but we did fight to end it. Did you? Now keep this. Peep this. He says, how does one expect to get paid for something they didn't endure off the backs of people who didn't? Then they go off to do the we. I'm here, Kid Gravity. I'm hearing that soundbite, that who is we. But we did fight. But you just said that you didn't have anything to do with. So why are you saying we like you were there? Why did you throw we in there? There is no way to do reparations right or fair. There are already scholarships, job opportunities, loans, all based on skin color not being taken advantage of, victim mentality to the end. Yet they have something called legacy admissions for white people. They had affirmative action, but they overturned it. But legacy admissions, as far as I know, was still there. Again, this is all projection. It's like I tell you, I'm just showing y'all what this thread says. I'm not gonna go through the entire thing, maybe go through a couple more, just so y'all can get an understanding of what we're dealing with here. It says they see it, what they are asking for would put them in the top 5% of wealth in America and bankrupt everyone else while they sit back and laugh, but we ain't allowed to have a voice. Now peep that comment. She said that would put them in the top 5% of wealth in America. They don't want us there. They want us to continuously be at the bottom. It says it bankrupt everyone else. Actually, it wouldn't. This is how you know they don't know how reparations would actually work. But again, they just don't want us to have it. That's really all it boils down to. And this is why they sit back and laugh. Just like y'all been sitting back and laughing for God knows how long. And talk about, but we ain't allowed to have a voice. You're talking right now. There's your voice right there. Who was stopping you? On this platform owned by a person who is staunchly anti-black himself. After all, didn't the N-word usage go up like 500% the minute they officially announced that Elon Musk was now officially the owner of Twitter, now known as X? So don't be sitting up here talking about you don't have a voice. You definitely have a voice. It's the fact of what you use your voice for and what that voice says. Oh, they see it and it's intentional and deliberate. It's not incompetence, but malice. I am fully prepared to start charging black people twice as much. Like I said, these comments, y'all, these comments. This is how would that entail? Borrowing, massive borrowing. It says, in this scenario, am I holding a nail gun? They says the entire sum will go down their collective black nostril in a single fatal crack cocaine ingestion. A costly solution to a long-standing problem. Oh, like all of that's going into a syringe that's filled with a narcotic that's going into your vein right now. Let's talk about opioids. Overdoses and the plague that's going on right now, and how y'all have yet to completely address that, and why it's still flourishing to this day. I started talking, as a matter of fact, when I started my original, not started my original channel, but when I started to reignite my original channel, those were some of the first videos I did. I was talking about how PC was now the face of drug overdoses, or the opioid overdoses. Man, that was a good run. That was a very good run. I ran on that for like a good year and some change. Right now, it's not really nearly as fun to talk about as much anymore, because it's like, we already know what it is, and it is what it is. They're not going to address it. Hell, they had 45 in there for 4 years, and they tried to get him to make it a national emergency, and he said, what does that got to do with me? But they love him so much, though. What is this? This says, I can give you good news. Black is now white and white is now black. I plan on getting some reparations. Kidding, of course, but it's so absurd to say that man is white. They said the grift is in the process, not the end goal. Lots of benefits along the way, but can still claim reparations are owed. Another one says they don't mind the money going everywhere else, especially to J-ish people. A Lamborghini and a genocide is the dividing line for a white person, and what they don't mind in terms of where their stolen funds go. And I can go on and on and on, but y'all pretty much get the gist of it. Like, y'all pretty much get where all these people are saying. Like I said, these were just the replies in the thread. Now, if I was to click on the actual comments and y'all can see what they wrote, it's even worse. But I'm not going to boggle you down with all of that. Y'all pretty much get the picture of what they're saying. It's pretty obvious. They are just upset because we will not drop this conversation of reparations. They keep bringing it up. As a matter of fact, Jason Black with a Black Authority, he did a broadcast recently where he was talking about Matt Walsh and about the topic of reparations. Again, they put all these people out there in the forefront to talk about reparations who have no business talking about it whatsoever, and they already have a preconceived notions because they are anti-black themselves. And he was just saying a bunch of BS and a bunch of lies, and that's all they're doing is getting on here and just lying, and they're riling their audience up like this person is doing right here, just so they can come out and literally expose how anti-black they are. Keep in mind, I just did a live stream talking about, before they were ousted, when I was talking about the history of the Black Republican, the Black American Republican, of then versus now. Now, these individuals in this comment section do not specify who they are leaning towards politically. They don't specify if they're a conservative or a liberal, a Republican or a Democrat, left, right, or anything like that. Not once in any of these responses did they say lefty or righty or whatever they call it, whatever you want to say. That means we can submit in our minds that it could come from any direction with this, as we've already seen with the response from both political sides. That's why I told y'all why I'm an independent, because both of them do not have black people's interests at heart whatsoever at all. I've already seen the writing on the wall. I've already seen what they're capable of, and I'm not for either one of them. They would have to prove with action, not with words, that they are capable of me giving them even a shred, an ounce of support. And right now, as it stands to this day, today, neither one of them have proven that to me. Honestly, they really haven't proven it to the collective of black people, but I can only speak for myself. I can't tell another black person how to vote. I really can't. But posts like this, they already prove without the shadow of a doubt one thing, that no matter what side they lean politically, and this applies to the people in the thread, they are staunchly anti-black, and they are very against reparations for black Americans. Those two things we know for certain if we didn't know anything else. Yeah, those 2 points right there.